10.8 Wrap-up. This chapter introduced several advanced topics related to classes and data abstraction. You learned how to specify const objects and const member functions to prevent modifications to objects, thus enforcing the principle of least privilege. You also learned that, through composition, a class can have objects of other classes as members. We introduced the topic of friendship and demonstrated how to use friend functions. You learned that the this pointer is passed as an implicit argument to each of a class's non-static member functions, allowing the functions to access the correct object's data members and other non-static member functions. You also saw explicit use of the this pointer to access the class's members and to enable cascaded member function calls. We motivated the need for static data members and demonstrated how to declare and use static data members and static member functions in your own classes. Finally, we showed how to create a proxy class to hide the implementation details of a class from the class's clients. In Chapter 11, we continue our study of classes and objects by showing how to enable C++'s operators to work with objects, a process called operator overloading. For example, you'll see how to overload the operator so it can be used to output a complete array without explicitly using a repetition statement. Summary. Section 10.2 Const, constant, objects and const member functions. The keyword const can be used to specify that an object is not modifiable and that any attempt to modify the object should result in a compilation error. C++ compilers disallow non-const member function calls on const objects. An attempt by a const member function to modify an object of its class is a compilation error. A member function is specified as const both in its prototype and in its definition. A const object must be initialized. Constructors and destructors cannot be declared const. Const data member and reference data members must be initialized using member initializers. Section 10.3 Composition, objects as members of classes. A class can have the objects of other classes as members. This concept is called composition. Member objects, page 423, are constructed in the order in which they redeclared in the class stuff. Init-ion and before their enclosing class objects are constructed. If a member initializer is not provided for a member object, the member object's default constructor will be called implicitly. Section 10.4 Friend functions and friend classes. A friend function of a class is defined outside that class's scope, yet has the right to access all of the class's members. Standalone functions or entire classes may be declared to be friends. A friend declaration can appear anywhere in the class. The friendship relation is neither symmetric nor transitive. Section 10.5 Using the this pointer. Every object has access to its own address through the this pointer. An object's this pointer is not part of the object itself, i.e. The size of the memory occupied by the this pointer is not reflected in the result of a size of operation on the object. The this pointer is passed as an implicit argument to each non-static member function. Objects as the this pointer implicitly, as we don't this point, or explicit lighter afference. Data members and member functions. The this pointer enables cascaded member function calls, page 433, in which multiple functions are invoked in the same statement. Section 10.6 Static class members. A static data member represents class-wide information, i.e., a property of the class. Shared by all instances, not a property of a specific object of the class. Static data members have class scope and can be declared public, private, or protected. A class's static members exist even when no objects of that class exist. To access a public static class member when objects of that class exist, simply prefix the class name and the scope resolution operator, smiley face to the name of the data member. A member function should be declared static if it does not access non-static data members or non-static member functions of the class. Unlike non-static member functions, a static member function does not have a this pointer, because static data members and static member functions exist independently of any objects of a class. Section 10.7 Proxy classes. Providing clients of your class with a proxy class that knows only the public interface to your class enables the clients to use your class's services without giving the clients access to your class's implementation details, such as its private data. When a class definition uses only a pointer or reference to an object of another class, the class header for that other class, which would ordinarily reveal the private data of that class, is not required to be included with #include. You can simply declare that other class as a data type with a forward class declaration, page 443, before the type is used in the file. The implementation file containing the member functions for a proxy class is the only file that includes the header for the class whose private data we would like to hide. The implementation file containing the member functions for the proxy classes provided to the client as a precompiled object code file along with the header that includes the function prototypes of the services provided by the proxy class.